And I still tour for the company. We just went to Europe, where Winnie the Pooh is playing right now. So we went to France and Germany.
You
and
did
the
that.
UK.
You animated Tigger. For
Tigger, yeah, a milk call character. Oh, talking about pressure. Oh, wow! But I had to. They didn't have a choice in the matter. They didn't know that I had to. The casting was a little unique on Winnie the Pooh because there were other people who wanted to do Tigger, obviously. And what the directors did, they had us up to a conference room, showed us the rough storyboards, and of course the character lineup. And then they said, you know what, we have a little time before we start animation for the actual movie. Why don't you guys do test scenes and see how you would handle characters? And I said, oh my God, I'm going to have to blow them out of the water. I have to do something really cool here. So I did 3 test scenes with Tigger, and they liked them, so I got the part.
Well, you know, I think it's funny. It's a little bit like Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. People are either Tiggers or they're Eeyore. You know, and like I love Eeyore, and I have Eeyore cells at my house, but I'm Tigger. It's my personality. So I find all the people that are Tiggers are more drawn toward Eeyore, and all the people that are Eeyores are more drawn toward Tiggers. So I wonder about, you know, Milk Call and.
Oh, he would be a Tigger.
Yeah.
He was very eccentric. Very intense. Very brutal when it came to judging other people's work, including his own. Sometimes he said, "I've done a lot of crappy things too in my life." I said, "What?" And I said, "Oh, there's scenes here and there, you know." I mean, but he was brutal, where he would incense people, and
yes, I've heard.
You know, so he had that part in him. But when I had a chance to meet him, it was just all social. You know, he didn't work anymore, so the stories he told me were fascinating.
Not a lot of peacekeepers in the 9 Old Men. All pretty intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had, which is amazing to me that they weren't at each other's throats constantly.
Well, they were, but Walt kept them in check. He just wouldn't have it, you know, and that's what Mark Davis said. His big statement was always, he said, it's amazing that Walt could keep us as a group working without killing each other and getting good movies out of us, because they were so individual, you know, in their temperament, they were highly opinionated. You know, so
and their design styles are really different from each other.
Exactly.
Can you just mention a little something about Mama Odie and her pet snake? Because I love this character.
She was another one where they didn't have a choice in the casting. I had to do her.
Again, love her.
Ron and John had
She makes the movie.
Well,
totally.
you know what? She should have been more in the movie, but I lost that.
I like Ray too, but that's
She should have been more in the movie. I was fighting so hard to have her in the climax. I thought, what if Facilier does his bad voodoo magic and she helps the characters with her good voodoo, and there's this good versus evil, and they said, no, we have a different ending in mind. She's not enough in the movie. So I did most scenes with her, but it also freed me up to help other animators, so I helped out on Facilier. I did a whole bunch of the song.
Oh, really?
Facilier,
which part?
Where he's actually turning into that voodoo mask thing, you know, and they did a whole section. Which was fun.
I love
slipping right back
Frog.
into. Yeah, it was a really fun movie.
Who did Ray?
That was Mike Surrey.
Yeah, I loved Ray.
Fantastic.
I loved
really,
Ray.
really emotional and makes you cry.
No, but like, why did they do it?
Well,
I thought it was going to be like Baloo.
Yeah.
Come on, no! Oh well, what can you do? I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. All right, so.
But she was fun to do because her voice, Jennifer Lewis, was an absolute knockout to me. Again, every line was just so juicy to animate. And
if you're listening to the words that she says, they're always funny. I mean, she's just
always, you know,
so amazing.
Her funniest line, I think, was when she she has the 2 frogs sitting on her shoulder, and they're looking at this gumbo soup down there and seeing a vision. And Tiana says something, and Mama Odie says, "Hush up and look at the gumbo." It comes out of nowhere, you know. And it was this big close-up, and I had this flesh just moving. Hush up and look at the gumbo. Stop! It's just because she's got so much loose flesh here.
Yeah, she's a little loose.
I had a blast with that.
Yeah, but she's so comfortable in her own skin. That's the most beautiful thing about that movie, is the idea of being comfortable in your own skin. That's the whole message of that movie. And that's why she should have been in the movie more, because that's what she did.
Yeah.
She's just, that's her whole message.
I tried to have a more.
Well, you did enough with her being, as much as she was in it, she was great.
Yeah, she was.
So the next thing for you is what?
I'm developing 2 short films right now. I have a friend who's writing the story on one right now. I'm also consulting on a possible animated feature done in Europe.
Which allows for some really artistic animation,
Mhm.
because there's been some really beautiful
Especially though my short films will not look like Disney work that much. One of them maybe a little, but the other one will be just, it'll be an animated sketch. It won't even look like a final clean up color. It'll just be very loose, you know.
like the one that was the postcard, you know that one that it was up
Yeah.
for Oscar last
Something
year.
along those lines. Yeah, that's
Martinique or
Mhm.
I forget where that was, but it's
mhm.
a French.
Somewhere in Africa. Or
Yeah, I
somewhere,
think
yeah.
so. I loved that.
Something
There's
like
some
that.
beautiful animation shorts coming out. You know,
Mhm.
very artistic, and I think that a lot of your work has such a fine art twist to it, and maybe it is because you've studied so much the Nine Old Men and the classic animators Disney.
But I also studied fine art, you know.
Well, obviously,
when I-
that, yeah,
at-
but
at-
you,
at
it's, you
school
haven't,
and-
you know, it's still all there, just very tangible in your work as an animator.
But I got so reassured by that concept when I went to Mark Davis's house, because that house is full of his paintings and graphics, and I mean, that man tried every style. It was overwhelming, still is, to go there. I said, you did all this and then went to work and did Tinkerbell? How did that all fit into one head, you know? And yet he had a very simple answer. He said, well, you're not just only an animator, you're an artist first. So I express myself through animation, through oil painting, through watercolor, through drawing, through all kinds of things, you know.
And it keeps
So-
everything fresh.
It
And
sure
it's
does, it
great
sure
to,
does.
it's like doing villains and little girls and all of the different characters. Trying a bunch of different things keeps you fresh. So,
And it's really good to have another artistic outlet. One of my favorite one is to do these wire sculptures. I don't have one here right now, but there are some.
well, you
Online.
can send me images and I'll put them on so people can see. What is it about that?
I saw these wire sculptures first in Milt Kahl's house, because he had retired and he was a little bored and needed something artistic, and he started doing these wire sculptures. And basically, if you think about this ink line being a line, you can go left and right, you can go up and down, but you cannot draw in and out. Well, if you have a piece of wire, you can actually draw in and out.
It's three-dimensional drawing.
It's a three-dimensional drawing.
Yeah.
But it's funny how it fools the eye. I've done animals like a hippo yawning, like about this big, and it's just a few pieces of wire, and it's very light, and yet you put it down and you think it's heavy because it's a hippo, because it has all the volume of a real hippo. So it really fools you.
You're solving
in a-
the same problems you
fun
do
way.
as an animator.
Yeah.
That's really,
Using lines to portray weight and personality and the essence of a certain animal. Yeah.
well, I personally want to thank you for the fact that you are so representative of education and letting people understand what goes into the process of animation, because you do a lot of lecturing and you go out a lot to explain to the public how much of it is involved in the finished product of film, and that is very important. But also for coming and talking to me today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.